Well, good morning. Well, I'll just turn the borehole on here. Look, I was going to go down and check it. Give you a little bit of an update. So I trimmed all the grass the other day, so this looks a lot nicer. And just park the whole thing up in there. So anyway, the plan is irrigation. Obviously it's still okay now, it's not dry at the moment. So anyway, what I've done here, I've put one of these extensions on that I can use these large irrigators, and all I do is plug a bit of 2-inch hose, lay flat, and roll it round, and then I can manoeuvre the sprinkler wherever I want, and I can either have it doing like a 180, or you can have any angle you like. You can have it just a complete 360, so I could water all this grass if I want. So before, when we planted all these, I had little irrigators everywhere, on 1-inch pipes, threaded around. But now the trees have got too big and everything, it's a lot easier. And I've repurposed all the irrigation pipes that were in there. I've repurposed them elsewhere. So I didn't sort of cut them all up and throw them away. And so what I did is I dug this pipe in, because this is a sort of permanent feature now, this irrigation pipe. Before it was just on the surface, and it will allow me now to kind of just come across here and down here with the tractor to keep this area a little bit cut. It doesn't look it, but that's very steep, especially at this point. So got to be a little bit careful. So you can see I haven't quite backfilled this yet, I haven't finished it off yet. But I put another one of these hose connectors here, so I can kind of irrigate all this lot. Same as before, I had a lot of like little upright sprinklers on 1-inch pipes and things, so this has simplified the whole matter. Although those sprinklers were absolutely perfect when they were smaller plants, well, rather like these ones here. I've still got these little blue sprinklers, look, all in that piece there, but I have moved those around a little bit. So right, so this area now is grabbing my attention. Before the wet season, I've had one load of soil delivered here already. I'll get to that in a minute. Dug out a few trees here. I just wanted to level this off, but now you can obviously see this latest addition. Got some pipes, laid them on a bed of concrete, and hopefully now this is going to catch the water. So obviously haven't finished it off. This is going to have to be rendered up a little bit, and this is just an experiment. What I might do here is square that off a little bit better with a cutter, and then dig in some of these blocks into the ground, because what's going to happen, the water's going to hit that concrete and undermine it. But for a temporary fix, I'll just cover that sort of area with soil, so it'll run off the soil and down. Well, you can see down here the borehole running. That's that pipe there, look. Just using that to keep the lake topped up, really. So yeah, that pipe hopefully will work. We dug out a few trees from here and planted them replanted along this bank. So I need to get some water over there somehow. So looks like I might have a bit of a leak just here. It's a little bit wet. I'll have a look at that. It's probably that joint there. But I'm going to repipe all this inlet pipe, or the suction pipe for the irrigation pipe. I think when we were doing these pipes here, we've disturbed it or something, and once it starts, you only need a little pinprick hole in the suction pipe, and if it's sucking air, the pump will hardly ever work. Well, it'll never work. So I'm probably going to hoik that out and renew this suction pipe. I'll have a look. The reason I put this pipe in, obvious reason, to have some steps as well while we were here fiddling about. Just wang some stairs in there. Well, you can see these little sprinklers. I've got to take these away, but you can see what you can see what's happened here with the rain before. I mean, it just cuts these grooves all the way along this bank. So what I've done with soil is I've made a bit of a bund here. So any water that comes off the ground up here, it'll hit that bund and start to run down here, you know, in conjunction with this blue pipe. But we'll get to that in a minute. So hopefully it'll guide the water into here, and obviously some of it will go, you know, a lot of this will just fall down and go into the canal below. But I thought, well, I might as well try and capture some, because it'll always, you know, top up the lake. But eventually, once all this has settled down and I've renewed the pipes here, I'll get some more soil, and that pipe will be, you know, kind of completely buried. So you won't see that pipe, but we'll have to wait for that for a minute. So you can see here, standing at the top, you know, any water coming down here is going to hit this sort of bund that I've made with the tractor, and you know, it'll run down here and into the pipe. But there is a point where the land you can see it all slopes down here, look, and then there's a lot of water comes down here, and obviously from that gateway over there it comes down to this point just beyond this jackfruit tree. So what I'm going to do, I probably won't pipe it, but with soil, I've already started. I don't know whether you can see the levels or not, but I've already started this from that sort of point there somewhere. It starts to come, you know, down here, right, and onto this bit of land. Now naturally it's been wanting to go down there, although it was going down here, and just down here, you may not be able to see it, but I mean there's a huge channel all the way down there and down here where you can see what the water erosion's doing. So I'm just trying to control it really, and then hopefully this bank will settle down, and once things start growing on it and you get some roots in there, there's already, I don't care whether it's weeds or whatever, as long as there's some root material in there. This is just pure white soil here on this bank, so got no chance. But what I might do with that is, with this, you know, I can sprinkle a bit of topsoil on there. You don't need a lot, you only need, you know, a couple of mil chucked on there and something will grow on it. It's surprising. So anyway, going on to the pipeline, we've well, I've now connected the pump up to here. We dug in a pipe under the ground here, a 2-inch pipe, so it's, you know, a big jobby, it's a big feed, and the outlet is just here, look. So I've now got a 2-inch feed coming here, which eventually will run here, and then I'll dig it under the gate here, the 2-inch feed, and then I can run it down this fence line, because eventually this area of land here, we want to grow things on here, or Fon does, you know, it's nothing to do with me, but Fon wants to grow things here, herbs, chilies, rare things that, you know, will sell quite readily in the local market. So, but obviously there's no, well not obviously, but there's no topsoil on this at all. But, you know, that's going to need, you know, quite a few loads of topsoil. But that'll have to wait. Anyway, the irrigator, we planted this bougainvillea here, which has actually been successful. And this bougainvillea here, if you might remember from a previous video, was all the dead ones. Now look how these have performed. Look, they were all dead in a bucket. I don't know when I put that video out last time, but look how they've gone now. So there was obviously something wrong with that soil just over there that it didn't like or something. But these are going to go, these I can tell now are going to go massive. So this load of topsoil, believe it or not, there's a few chunky bits of rubbish in there, so he's gone a little bit below the topsoil. But these rock hard lumps, they do soften out with a bit of rain. So yeah, this area here is, you know, just needs a touch more. And I can also use this soil here to kind of sculpt. You can see the kind of natural dip there, look, and that's where I want the water to go, down there. And then with this load of soil here, I can make a bund all the way along this bank here, right? And then any water coming down here, then I can then direct it into that corner. So not too complicated, it's just a question of moving a bit of soil around and getting a bit of soil, and then you can direct the water to, you know, where you want to go. So you can see this bougainvillea here, we haven't watered this actually for a little while. That's right, it's still got plenty of moisture there. But I haven't got my irrigators here for the moment. So what have got is this lay flat hose, and it's a 2-inch lay flat hose coming directly from that pump. And I've got this thing that I made up a while ago. When we first got here, we used to have some fun with this, because you know, pumping 2-inch water through that tiny little pipe, that's not even an inch pipe, it's a 1/2-inch pipe. Pumping it through there, I can stand here and I can water those plants over there. The water just goes in a huge arc, so I can water those there. And then when I want to water these here, because they're a bit nearer, I just put my finger over the end of the pipe, look. And it just comes out like a big fan. I mean, I can water all that in a matter of seconds. And these are going well, these palms that we dug out. Yeah, you can see the borehole working away over there, look. So, what I might do is put a T in that on that borehole line, and then I can run a little pipe over here, connect it to a sort of garden hose, and I can water those trees that we planted just over there, look, on that far bank. Either that or just use a bucket on a string. Not a puppet, a bucket. Yeah, so that's the plan. But you can see this soil, look, that was just fill, what they call white soil. That's been in for a year now, so it's sort of settled a bit, but you can see what happens with the water if you just let it go wherever it wants. Look how that's eroded that huge dish in there. I've already put a bit of a bund there, look, from another load of soil I had. So I shall just do another sort of bund like that. Doesn't need a lot. I'll do another bund like that all the way along this bank using this soil here. So, and that'll hopefully then, any water coming down here will hit this bund and either go down that end, or it'll come down here, and you know, I want to try and get it to go round the corner there. So yeah, so just walking up the hill a little bit. So yeah, this irrigator line that I put in. I'll put another one going that way towards the gate. Yeah, it comes up here and it does this whole area here now. So I've kind of renewed all this, and that was using all the pipes that I took away from over there down the bottom. You just buy a few joiners and bang it all back together again. Some of them I don't glue. So anyway, yeah, I've moved these out because they were right inside the bushes and obviously the water couldn't get out. So now I've changed the sprinklers as well. You can get these little ones, right? So it comes out and it just comes out in a big fan. So if you stand behind it, you're not getting wet, but all the water comes out in a big fan. So it will just water all this area here. Now obviously I can't water the plants, I can only water the ground. So, but consequently I put a fan on this one, look. Or not a fan, but one of these more traditional sprinklers that just whir round and round and round. And the reason I've done that is because obviously we got this grass here, so that Fon's been really busy with, look. All looking a little bit yellow, but it'll green up. So we've made a lovely sort of lawn area here, which, you know, Fon's done. Did I say Fern before? That's Fon's daughter. Yeah, so I put another little sprinkler thing on here, so it kind of, you know, it waters a fair bit of it. We got a hose here as well, so but these sunflowers have seen their best, so they'll come out eventually, and then we'll keep the seeds. So, and then we can plant some more somewhere else. And then obviously these will look a bit more prominent then, these little bushes and things.